It's early in the morning. We got that cold snap. Isn't grand solar minimum great for us gardeners? That's my new bird feeder. Fortunately, I'm out of bird seed, but fortunately there's stuff left in there. There's the old bird feeder spot. As you can see, there's snow. Not much, but enough that there was a frost last night. This is my apple tree, which has already got some leaves on it. I hope we're looking at a week or so of very cold weather, freezing or right below the freezing level. I hope it doesn't hurt this apple tree I grew from a seed. As you can see, there's snow covering any flat surface. That's a storm window that I use to cover seedlings to prevent the birds from getting at the seeds. You could see it attracted that dusting of snow. I just hope everything survives. I've got my garden almost prepared. The only things I've been holding back on intentionally have been the tomatoes and peppers, the real warm weather plants. The zucchinis. Actually, I put a zucchini seed, a couple zucchini seeds, zucchini and squash seeds, yellow squash seeds in. As you can see, my pea plant to the left there is pretty much destroyed, but the kale has been doing very well, and I imagine will survive this since kale survives the winter. It's April 10th, Good Friday for those who celebrate that holiday. This video, like my previous video, is not exactly crystal clear. There was not a lot of light at this point, but I'm starting to think that the slow motion effect is somehow messing with the clarity of the high resolution. Yeah, you can see that pea plant is all but dead. That's okay. They're easy to grow, but I started that inside. It's been out for a while and it just hasn't really, for some reason, it just hasn't taken. My radishes coming up here on the right, beets, and there's some lettuce to the left, are doing fairly well, as is the stinging nettle. I wanted to touch a little bit on this, all the closures and social distancing going on right now, and my disappointment with the reaction of people, or a lack of reaction of people, to push back at the government and these health officials that are literally destroying our lives and denying us of the things we need, the necessities of life that we need, for the sake of what I believe to be an effort by get ready for it, the corporatocracy, the power elite, the globalists, whatever you want to call them, to somehow make this the new normal, to create some sort of vaccine. And if you don't have the vaccine, you can't do this, or if you don't, if you don't follow their specific instructions on how to live, you can't participate in society anymore. As I record this video, my local stores still don't have things like toilet paper, antibacterial wipes, liquid soap, rubbing alcohol. I couldn't even, they're out of bird seed at the local store, and I feed my birds. I've been feeding birds for years now. Today, the coldest day in a long time, when the birds need the seed the most, and I'm out of seed. I couldn't get it. Walmart won't deliver it. Amazon is like, around here is like, has like over a week lag time before they'll deliver anything, even if you're a Prime member, which I am. I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on right now, and people are just like thinking they're like doing good and saving lives. Look, you're not saving lives. I mean, when tens of thousands of people every year die of influenza, no one ever went, did anything. When hundreds of thousands of people die of heart disease and all of these things, cancer, no one does a darn thing about it. And suddenly, the whole world's turned upside down because somehow the media and the government and some consortium of strange medical doctors have taken this thing and run with it as if it's a rare occurrence. It's not rare. All of their projections have been wrong. I mean, anytime, the one thing I do agree with things that come out of, government and whatnot is that, any life we lose is a tragedy. But the idea, in comparison, it's not the social distancing that's saving lives right now. It's the fact that this thing is no worse than the annual flu. And you know who's getting hit with this? Are people who are passing the blunts, people in the inner cities who aren't social distancing and never social distance and never washed themselves, the homeless, the huddled people in these tents and gangs, sharing needles and all of that sort of stuff. These people are filthy people that our politicians have allowed to just allow them to exist in throngs in inner cities. Mentally ill people and party people. Their whole life's a party. They sleep in their tent on the street, wake up in the day, and like, how am I going to get high today? What are we going to do? And now they're allowed to shoplift up to $1,000 for free, like in places like California. So they just go in the store and get whatever they want. And it's party city, and the cops won't bother them. And then pass the blunt around, pass the needle around, hang out together, spreading disease. And as they go into these stores to shoplift, or people have to pass them on the streets to go into their buildings, they're just oozing out their disease. I mean, hell, they're urinating and defecating and, on the streets, just spreading their disease. And even the doctors admit the statistics that it's the subculture and inner cities, that have been, that seem to be the highest concentration of this various this new affliction. I've covered these. There's some shard under there I covered because, to prepare for this frost, just like I have the tarps, some of those tarps down as well. Anyway, I don't normally get this vocal and loud in my rant. But lately I've just been, I've been kind of fed up with it. And how people are just mindlessly just taking it. And thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing good by sitting around in my house. I mean, they've even come out and said that the chances, every time they do these tests, the chances of a person getting seriously ill from this are very slim. Okay, that number one. That statistic alone, that they've actually said that. And then when they do testing, that they find out that the vast majority of people, 80% or more, don't even have it that they've tested. And so we're basing upon people on hospitalizations. And now we're finding out that they built all these hospital beds, the Army Corps of Engineers, and that FEMA set up all this, infrastructure. And even in the hard-hit areas like New York City, there are available hospital beds. They haven't filled that ship, the Comfort. The Javits Center has got empty beds. There's empty beds in hospitals. I was lying on that lounge chair getting a suntan. I mean, literally my face is still has color to it just several days ago. And now look, it's covered with, not covered with snow, but I mean, it's got snow on it. I saw someone was trying to tie this virus into global warming too. Yeah, here's your global warming. Talk to anybody who grows, who watches the climate on a daily basis, the weather, the temperatures, who are some people like me who've not only do that, but who've also traveled around the world, different places, and spent seasons in other areas. The world's getting colder, folks. Grand solar minimum is true. There's no climate change in that regard, other than the cyclical changes of the sun and the things that normally happen on the planet. It's as if everyone's gone mad. It's a surrealistic nightmare. I've been posting. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the simulation theory is actually true and this all is some kind of bizarre, direction that this simulation we're in has taken. And me and, a few other people are basically caught onto it, but the rest of the people are non-player characters or something because they just seem to be completely, totally ignoring how illogical, the reaction is by the average person. I'm going to be doing some changes to this greenhouse. Those are stapled pieces of micro blinds that I use to hold the plastic on that side. I have a different type of material to make this greenhouse on the roof and the other side. But here I just have plastic because I'm going to be adding, that means just sheet plastic. I'm going to be adding a larger fan, a screen, and some glass to that. This is one of my main areas. You could see the oregano plant there on the lower right. It's got snow on it. The youngins, well, they should do good in this. They'll survive. But look how they've been popping up like crazy. Yeah, in my area, we're in for another week of this. This cold weather in the 30s. A couple days it'll stay in the 30s or 40s. I don't know. I may lose what I've got. I mean, I have actually flowers when we go in the greenhouse. I actually had my tomato plants that I had in there were actually ready flowering, but I don't know how they'll possibly survive. Yeah. So it's a world gone mad. People afraid. I'm sorry if I, come off the wrong way, but I'm actually, I'm almost, I can no longer have empathy or sympathy when I see these people, in a grocery store and, with these surgical masks on in horror, terror of, getting close to another person. But yet when they check out, my thumb over the lens, but when they go to check out, they pull out their debit card and they put their fingers on the keypad that 1,000 other people used and don't think twice about it. And then probably take that hand that is just 1,000 other hands, where 1,000 other hands have touched, and adjust their face mask, and then touch the door, the exit door, or or the various plastic bags that have been handled by people in the back room. Now, it's this door looks pathetic. I just haven't gotten around to scraping and sanding and painting it down. It's a summer project. I just wanted to show you here my tomato plants that I put in here. The temperature inside this place has been getting up to like 90 degrees. You can see if you look closely that there's a yellow flower there. There's many of them in there. I opened the door, which I probably shouldn't have. We'll get a closer look inside. And I'm sure we'll be able to read the thermometer the way this camera has, been dying on me. I guess it is. But I've got some basil, there's a couple small pepper plants, 2 big tomato plants in there, and some other stuff that until this ridiculous snowfall. They're calling for like high winds this afternoon, up to 45 miles per hour. I lived in the Gulf Coast of Florida for a year or so, and it's basically almost tropical storm winds. So I don't know what kind of havoc is going to be raised back here with the tropical storm winds in my backyard. Could well be the end. So I guess it'll be interesting to watch how this simulation unfolds. Whether, if people have truly accepted this idea that, this pandemic is as if this is worse than, the flu that killed 53,000 people a year or 2 ago. All their predictions have been off. All their demands, we need 40,000 ventilators, and they're lucky if they used, needed a few thousand. We build us hospitals, and then they don't use the hospital beds that are built. And the people who are dying of this stuff are people that would have died anyway, or would have died from the flu or something else. And the point is, they didn't really save all this stuff didn't save the lives. In other words, the inevitability of someone who is that seriously ill, teetering on the brink of death, that anything could have pushed them over the end, and would have. So the point is, has the whole country gone mad? Have we changed our entire lives, our society, and everything for the sake of, uh, you know, inner city, homeless, gang, drug abusers, users, party people, and extremely sick people on their deathbeds that, you know, constantly will have died this year anyway, or any time. What did we, you know, and did die, will die, would have died, and did die. You can't really see the temperature in there. I don't know. It probably may. No. It's got to be somewhere around 30. Like I say, I'm very disappointed in this camera. It's got to be right around 30. I think if you look really closely, maybe you can see the line. Kind of where that line that goes across, that's the thing that holds the thermometer in place. If you look maybe just below that by about of a quarter or a half inch is where the temperature is. So I guess I come off as being kind of insensitive and, you know, a little mean on this vlog. But, you know, someone's got to say it and somebody's got to express it. Nobody else seems to be. I mean, there's a few people out there I've seen. You know, people are hiding their videos. They're editing them so that YouTube, they won't say the name of the, you know, the dreaded virus, because the video will be taken down. I mean, maybe just using that V word is enough to. There you can see these tomato plants were flowering, but there's no way in hell I think they're going to be able to deal with 31 degrees at night. Those flowers will just fall right off. I was on the verge of actually having a lot of tomatoes. Anyway, folks, that's it. Visit my site, rockflux.com. Get a shirt, buy a book, listen to some of my beat poetry tracks. It's good stuff. I've been talking about this kind of stuff and the absurdities of 21st century life for years now. Check it out. Some of my songs are some of my own favorites. Until the next time, take care. Look at that robin.